lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my.
I bet you thought bears were really scary, huh? Well, would you believe they're shy? They eat bugs and berries, not kids. I bet you thought you could sneak up on the critter man, huh? You can't, 'cause I grew up with the four-leggeds, and I got ears like they do. I was just practicing kind of being like a bear. They do a lot of cool stuff. Let me show you. Over here, they grunt a lot when they're talking to themselves, looking for food. Like that, huh? Absent-mindedly. And then you can hear them sniffing, looking for food sometimes, but sometimes they'll smell danger too, and when they do, they stand way up like that, tall like we do, so they can catch the wind up there. Sometimes they're clawing on logs and things like that to get the grubs and the maggots and the worms and stuff. And then when they get really scared, seems like they're mad, but they get scared, they go pop their jaws like that, pop, 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 pop. It means they're scared of us, not trying to scare us. You guys do know what a black bear looks like, don't you? Now that is a bear. Actually, it's a black bear. That's important because there's other kinds. Grandma, what weird lips you have. See, those lips are real flexible on a bear. They use them like fingers. They got no fingers, so they have to grab stuff and kind of look at it and smell it and taste it with their lips. Real flexible. Grandma, what a big nose you have. The nose is big, and they can smell huckleberries miles away, but the reason is their brain is better at interpreting smell. We can't smell like a bear can because we're too stupid. Grandma, what cute little ears you have. Now those ears are cute and little, but they can probably hear your watch ticking 50 feet away. Bears got pretty good eyes, especially at night, but they don't use them nearly as much as their nose and their ears. You know, when you're out in the woods, it's kind of thick sometimes, and the trees are real dense. It's easy to get lost out there because you can't see where you're going. Well, that's the reason bears have to use their nose and their ears. Black bears are the smallest bear in the United States. An adult black bear on all 4 feet is about the size of a St. Bernard dog, you know, like Beethoven in the movies. If he stands up, he's probably as tall as your refrigerator, or a big one might even be tall as Michael Jordan. Now, a grizzly, different story. Way bigger than a black bear. And the polar bear is even bigger yet. Bet you think bears, because they're kind of big, make a lot of noise going through the woods, right? Well, they don't. You know why? Because bears walk barefoot. Big, wide pads. There, like Madonna's feet. Some scientist drugged Madonna so he could do some tests on her. See how big the pads are on her feet? She could walk right past you and you wouldn't hear her at all, unless she was sniffling around your tent for an Oreo or something. Now, even though she's a black bear officially, Madonna's fur is brown. Pretty confusing, huh? black, brown, honey-colored, blue, even white. Black bears come in lots of colors. George, I gotta tell you, I've been kind of missing you. You know, you should have looked both ways and listened when you crossed that road. And now look what you're looking like. Oh, this ain't Madonna. This is George, and well, was George. You know, these guys got pretty thick fur. You know why they got that such thick fur? They're running around in the wintertime? No. In the wintertime, they're kind of doing what we call hibernate. What it means is they get really fat. They eat all the time. Food, 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 food. That's what it's like being a bear in the summertime. Get fat, and then they slow down their breathing, find a nice little cubby hole someplace, and their heartbeat gets slower and slower, and pretty soon, because they ate so much, they start feeling sleepy. It's just you, George. Scared me. I must had a little nap. You know, if I was like George, I'd probably take a nap for about 5 months. They call that hibernate. Now, I know it sounds kind of easy just sleeping, right? Well, these guys slow way down, they get real skinny, they even have their babies, little tiny guys about a pound, and those babies nurse and grow while mom is still sleeping. And you know what? During the whole 5 months, they never once get up to go potty. Well, the reason we know this kind of stuff about all these guys who hibernate is once upon a time, we helped a couple of them out. They were just cubs, but we helped them out when it came that time of the year. Shenandoah and Shoshone had lost their mom. Some hikers found them all alone in the woods and took them to people who fix up injured critters. When it came time for their winter nap, scientists had to help them out.
We're gonna take the cage inside and see if we can get the two friendlier ones to load.
Those scientists are pretty tricky. I bet you they use food to get Shoshone to go in the cage. Food almost always works.
They want to come real bad.
Come on, Shoshone, it's okay.
Told ya. Now they're gonna take Shoshone and Shenandoah from their human home and put them back in the wild where they belong.
Okay, that'll hold them in.
See, scientists know, well, at least they guess, that if they put the cubs in a den in the woods for their winter nap, a long winter nap, they'll forget. And when they wake up, they'll never remember living with people. The cubs are already tired because they haven't eaten much for a few days. And not having food after all that food all summer long makes them want to sleep. But that scientist, John Beecham, he gives them a shot that'll really make them sleepy.
This dosage for this size bear ought to put them down for hour and a half to 2 hours.
Shenandoah falls asleep.
Okay.
That guy John Beecham puts a tag on her ear, partly to make her look like a punker bear, and partly so that if she ever runs into people again, scientists will know she got through the winter okay.
In fact, last summer we caught one that we'd released last year, a little female. In fact, we caught her probably less than a half a mile from the den we put her in.
Goodbye, Shenandoah.
Scientists load up the brother and sister and carry them down the mountain to their new home. These scientists have to walk a long ways, and Shoshone, the one in the backpack, weighs as much as a big dog. Shoshone is a load.
Almost there.
The scientists found the den for the cubs before it snowed. Shenandoah goes in first. John pushes and pushes and pushes to get her inside the den. And then he gets stuck. Those other scientists have to pull him out.
Okay, one down. I got too much dirt in my eyes.
Now it's Shoshone's turn. When John thinks the cubs are pushed in far enough and comfortable, his pals pull him out of the den again. The scientists make the bears feel safe by covering up the opening to the den with dirt and pine boughs. That way they'll want to stay in their cozy den under the snow and sleep all winter long. Oh, I heard there's a scientist gonna show up out here today. I got dressed up for the occasion. What do you think? Like my tie? There he is now. Hey, Mr. Scientist type, what are you doing?
Hey, Critter Man, I'm out here looking for one of my bear friends.
Oh, cool. Hey, speaking of bear friends, I saw you last fall take a couple little cubbies and stick them in a den. Whatever happened to them?
Well, they're out here wandering around. They came out last spring just like they were supposed to.
Cool. How'd they know when to wake up?
Well, I don't know. Bears that den at high elevations come out of the den about the same time as bears that den at low elevations. They just seem to know when to come out.
That's kind of cool. We don't know everything, isn't it?
That's for sure.
Without a mom, how do they know what to eat?
Well, it just seems to be instinctive. They just seem to know what to eat and where to find it.
Why would you put a couple cubs back in the den anyway? Sounds kind of like a silly thing to do.
Oh, no. We know it works, and it's just the right thing to do.
Cool. I like that idea.
There they are now.
Who?
That's our little bear friends.
Let me know how they're doing.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Scientist type. Old MacDonald had a woods, E-I-E-I-O, and in that woods he had a bear, E-I-E-I-O, with here, there, here, Oh, there you are. In the springtime, when the bears come out of hibernation, they're groggy for about 3 days. And later, they get kind of hungry. I found some of the kind of stuff that they eat. Now, in the early spring, the sun shines warm on some south slopes and we get what's called green up. And that's where you're going to find the bears eating stuff like, surprise, surprise, grass. Most people don't think of bears eating grass, but it's one of their favorite foods in the early spring. Actually, it really isn't too bad. And then there's another plant called low mason, which kind of looks like parsley, grows in most of those spots too. And they really like that stuff too. And later on, they might find carcasses of animals that have been killed in the wintertime. And sometimes the newborn fawn or something like that, they'll eat those too. And then they eat this stuff that Oh, they eat mice too, but not mice with stuffing. Huh? And later in the summertime, I brought along one of my favorite foods and the bear's favorite foods too. It's called the blueberry. Seems like every week there's a new nut or a new berry that's ripe, and bears know exactly which ones are. But bear heaven is a log they can rip apart and find ants and grubs and bugs and worms. With their snuffly little lips, they scarf them up. Now I know you know that bears like honey, but unlike the Pooh Bears, black bears also like the bees, because the honey is sugar, but the bees are protein. Just lately, bears have found a brand new source of food. The cooler. That's kind of unfortunate because somebody owns the cooler and gets mad at the bear because they are eating what's inside. Lots of goodies in there. See, the bear doesn't know any better. Bear's just doing its job, eating. But usually when they get in coolers, it means eventually it's going to be a dead bear. It takes a lot of bugs and berries to feed a bear, which means they need lots of room to find it. My bear buddy's been telling me that space is getting tougher to find because people like to live where the bears live. You know, you guys like to play in your backyards. Well, now we're building roads and houses and stuff in the bear's backyard. If you see 2 or 3 bears together, you're probably looking at Mom and the cubs. Now they stay with Mom for about 1.5 years because she's got to teach them how to stay safe and where to find food. But if you should run into Mom and the cubs, this is what's going to happen. Mom, unlike the stories you've heard, is going to run away, zip, into the thick brush, and she's going to hiss and pop her jaws. She's doing what's called a diversion. That's like the bird doing a broken wing act to keep you from its nest. Meanwhile, the cubs run the other way and up a tree to hide. You know, a lot of people think that black bears are real ferocious, but they get that reputation from grizzly bears. Totally different story. Grizzlies pretty unpredictable. Black bears would do anything to avoid a confrontation. Now, how do you know when you're in black bear country? Well, you can look for what we call scat. Now, if you're a budding scatologist, you know what we mean by that is looking for poop. I smell some right over here. Yep, there it is. Hey, that smells like Hank. Hank's been eating Cocoa Puffs. Well, wherever there's Hank's scat, there's also got to be Hank's tracks. But to find them, we got to look for some nice, soft ground. Hang out with me a second here. Yep, there they are. Kind of looks like Hank's track. About this long, 4 toes. Looks kind of like a human foot, but human feet are longer and got 5 toes. These guys got 4. Now, let's see. Grizzly bear track, if it was around, it'd be big and it would have long claw marks out in front. Grizzly tracks are real different. Oh, there you are. It's about time. I've been waiting for you. I got stories about bears getting caught in live traps. The scientists, that's how you say it, those guys who capture the bears, they want what's called vital statistics. Big long word means they want to know stuff about the bears. Put a radio collar on, you can follow that bear around for the rest of its life. Vital statistics is kind of like when you guys go to the doctor. They weigh you, they might take a little blood to check out your blood, they might ask you questions about what you're eating. Well, I want to know the same stuff about bears. But I can't believe my buddies, last summer, they got caught in those traps yet again. Can't believe how dumb they are. You put a little food out, you're just gonna catch a bear every time.
No activity. You can see the bait's in the back here. And what we've got is a V-shaped structure that we call a cubby. The bait's in the back and then the snare's set out of here in front.
That thing called a snare is really a cable loop with a trigger in the middle. They bury the loop so the bear can't see it. Then they put something really smelly in the cubby, like dead fish. But bears really prefer fresh food, like the maggots. When the bear walks in to get the food, he steps on the snare and zip, it's got him. Biologists tie the snare to a small log so when the bear runs away, he can pull the log behind him and not hurt his leg.
So when they get caught and they're dragging the drag log down the hill, you just look for these marks in the soil and just kind of follow them to wherever they happen to be. They usually don't get too far, usually within 20 or 30 yards.
Ha! They caught Homer. He hasn't figured those traps out yet.
You know, our observations are that they're really shy, reclusive animals. They try to get away if they can. If they're cornered, lots of times they'll bluff charge you or pop their jaws and make a little noise, try to give you a threat display. If that doesn't work, you know, then they just start shivering and acting like an animal that's really afraid of you, and that's what they are.
The first thing we do is we estimate the weight, and I'm guessing this one at about 130 pounds, and which is about 2.5 cc of this drug. It varies on the animal, but it should put her to sleep well over an hour. So what I want to aim for is one of the larger muscle masses on the bear. The way she's sitting, I think I may try the front shoulder and see how she reacts. She was really calm.
Ow! Homer's gonna complain about that one for days. See, those biologists took out a little tooth to tell him how old Homer is. I wonder why the scientists do all that. Let's ask John, the bear expert.
Well, it's important for two reasons. One is we need to know how our management programs affect bears and how they respond to them. And the second reason is we need to know how bears use their habitat. We need to know more about how to manage them so that we can make sure that they're around for future generations to enjoy.
believe those guys think that I'm a bear. I'm the critter man. I'll catch up with you later. Oh, there you are. Took a little nap, didn't I? Oh, I know. Somebody had some questions for me, huh? 5th grade class in Cascade, Idaho, wanted to know how big bears are. Well, it kind of depends on when they're born, of course. They're only a pound, about the size of a brand newborn puppy. Pretty little. But later on, they grow up. They get to be the size of about a big dog the first year. And then a full-grown female black bear can be, the size of maybe Critter Man or even bigger. And a full-grown male black bear can get as big, they don't usually get this big, but as big as 2 sumo wrestlers taped together, Pretty big. There was something else that, I can't remember what it was, that somebody asked me, what was it? I remember what it was. How old do bears get? Well, they can get to be about 25 years old if they don't die first. You see, the reason I said that's because most of them don't make it that old. It's a tough life being a bear. And the other question was, do bears swim? Yeah, they like the water, but they don't do any fancy strokes like the butterfly or something. They do what we call the bear paddle. Kind of like the dog paddle, except it's a bear doing it, like this. Those things are tough. I want to catch up with those scientists, get this thing off me. By the way, when I'm doing it, you guys think of bighorn sheep questions, because next time we're going way up on top of the mountains.